14 years ago. It was 2007. I picked up the book of Secrets by the author Deepak Chopra. And at the time I was using cannabis to slow down, to feel better about things I didn't want to feel. It's going through a heartbreak. At the time, it was the first woman I've ever loved. And she was gone. I ended the relationship. And then I realized I made a grave mistake. And so what I was experiencing was something that I did to myself. It was really difficult to live with that. So this book, the Book of Secrets, I found it in the closet of my bedroom. It was left there, and I found it. And so I would smoke cannabis and I would start reading this book. And I'd only have to read maybe a sentence or a paragraph. And I would begin to contemplate for 15, 30, 45 minutes on a paragraph. And it took maybe a month to read this book. And it changed the perspective I have of what it's like of being a human. I learned that everything around me is a creation of myself. Everyone and everything is me. So it's been 18 years of trying to understand this seeming existence. Constantly reading, constantly contemplating. Beginning the path of psychedelics. Learning to slow down the breath. So much so that the thoughts begin to slow down. And then having windows of realizing what is ego, what is a separation that I create within myself. I found out last night a woman that I know took her own life. And so I create these videos to help anyone and everyone that's having a hard time, that wants to understand what's occurring within themselves. Because the outside world seems so real. The reality. It seems so real. And I've slowed down so much that if I just feel, if I simply feel things that are intense, and I track that, I can see that there's some sort of consciousness sharing lessons, sharing insights, repeating patterns, mirrors, these are the gifts of the universe. And the only way that I've found through all of the teachers and all of the books is to take things that seem like distractions and to slow them down. Just slow them down. It's like if you have an addiction, say alcohol. Can you drink one drop of alcohol, your favorite alcohol? You're addicted to alcohol. You want to drink the whole fifth or more. Slow down and drink one drop. Take 10, 15 deep, slow breaths. 15-second inhales, 15-second hold the inhale, 15-second hold the exhale. And then drink one drop. And repeat that breath 5 times. And notice how you feel before, during, and after. Notice what is occurring within you. Notice where the mind goes. Notice your thoughts. Pay attention to that stream of consciousness moving. I noticed when I began learning about psychedelics, I would buy books, I would watch videos, I would talk to people. And as I meditated on this, I realized I was afraid of losing myself. Losing myself. And I often bring conversations back to defining the words that we use. Because the English language, unfortunately or fortunately, has many meanings for each word. So when we say the word self, at the time, it was this thing that wanted to be seen a certain way, wanted to be understood and validated and appreciated, that was afraid of certain things and felt courage in other places. And so when I really got down to, I may begin to start working with psilocybin, I realized I may lose myself. And I trusted that if I began this, that it would be for the better. It would provide something that would be ultimately for my highest good. And after some months of using psilocybin, I realized it allowed me to take my fear and put it in the back seat of the car, and I could still drive. I started to communicate more freely. And then I realized the self I was losing was the self that wasn't really me. It was the self that would hold on. The self that would hold on. I began to lose that. As I drove here to the park, I thought about happiness. I thought about sadness. And the parts of us that hold on to things is the same part that creates unhappiness and sadness and worry and dreariness, shame, guilt, apathy. All of that is created from the same place. This sense of self. But if you slow down, if you notice how you feel, and you can get to the extent that you realize you are not even this thing that feels. You are not what you think. You are not what you sense. You are not what you want. The easiest way I can sum it up is a state of being, a state in which we receive and perceive. And within a state of being, like I was saying earlier, by slowing down the distractions, you can begin to receive messages. You can begin to see synchronicities. You may begin to see repeating numbers. That is the beginning. The angel numbers are the beginning. Seeing patterns is the beginning. And as you continue, you may begin to see symbolism in all sorts of places. And within these things may arise emotions. And as these emotions arise, can you notice? Can you notice what you're attached to? Can you notice what makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you anxious? What makes you annoyed? What makes you bitter? What makes you afraid? Can you notice how things make you feel? You get a parking ticket, you get a speeding ticket, you crash your car, someone crashes your car, you get fired, someone you love mistreats you, dismisses you, beats you. How do these things make you feel? And without resisting that, the lessons begin. You are now in class. You are now in the field of allowing universal God, Spirit, Christ, whatever you want to call it. You've now stepped into the realm of being a student of the universe. And the more you move down this path of listening and learning, you'll get to a point where discernment, good judgment, becomes very necessary to employ. You'll begin to realize you cannot just do whatever you want to do. Because if you begin to use cannabis frequently, regularly, you kind of get in a certain state. You only go so high. You only go so high so often, and you can't break through. Medicines carry a particular frequency, a particular wavelength. And our body can create that frequency all on its own. We do not need external substances to create these states of consciousness, these emotions, these endorphins, these hormones. So as you begin to apply discernment, good judgment in every area of your life, thought, words, actions, there's some sort of alignment that you feel. So we meet people that they're sober. We meet people that are single. We hear of the monks that live by creating nothing but an internal atmosphere. How do these people find happiness? How do these people cultivate a high sense of joy? They simply remove attachments. They remove the attachments of the mind. They notice if there's an addiction to nicotine. They just look at it over and over and over. Rewriting that connection. So everything that you feel, everything that you think, it's not that it's wrong, but can you use it? Can you use these things to learn about yourself? And know that all of these things are a form of love coming to you, for you, by you, to teach you what you're being distracted from. Because there is so much more underneath. There is so much more to explore. And to finish this video, finishing with discernment, there is so much in the world that tries to grab you, that tries to grab your emotions, and for you to choose one or the other, or option C. Just don't buy into it. Don't buy into it. Allow yourself to be in retard mode I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I don't need to get it. I'm choosing everything that I attach to, everything that my mental mind will allow to hold on to. Because all it takes is a few images and a few words. And all of a sudden we chose and we created a story. And now we're distracted by this external thing. So when we see the symbols, we get drawn into a story. Forget the story. Forget it, because you're not your story. The stories are not real. Clearing the mind, letting go. So we have to be very careful with social media, the news, friends, culture.